Call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Education School District number 40 at 6 p.m. on Monday, March 27th, 2023 at the Coolidge Professional Development. Could I have a roll call, please?
Audrey Adamson.
Here.
Justin Anderson.
Present.
Chet DeSmet. Kate Schaefer.
Here.
Maria Estragaros. Andrew Wayert.
Here.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Here.
Corinne Holmes. Ava Saucedo Sarah. Chet DeSmet.
All right, may all rise for the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Number 3, approval of the minutes. A is the minutes of the open session of the regular meeting of March 13th, 2023. Could I have a motion, please?
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Any public comment communication?
No, there is not.
All right. Greg, will you please talk to us about the website?
Like it wasn't that long ago, we were talking about Italy and how here we are now with the new website. But I just wanted to, we're getting very close to the final stages of our relaunch of this web design, so we just wanted to show you, sorry about that. Some of the development that we have, which again, is still being redesigned, so just know that when you get the presentation, you'll see a link that you can preview everything, and you're welcome to browse around. Just know that we still have some images to capture, still have some data to upload, we still have some elements to add. So while it's about 90% done, you might see some stuff on the link, the preview link, that doesn't look right. I'm gonna fix this out to you when you look at it, but just know it's started. So just to start with our website goals, I really haven't changed much since the last time we talked. There's a couple of school laws that came about that we have to be mindful of, and one of them is being level AA accessible. So there's a link here. I won't follow it. You can click on it, but it's there's a long list of items that are required in order for us to be accessible to all individuals. We want to add easy translation, which I'll show you that. Of course, we want to promote our district, and we want to have easy navigation on any device. We want it to be very, very responsive to mobile or to any screen resolutions. We want to provide relevant and timely information. And what we've learned with our current website is that we want it to be a role-based management. I can show you what that means as we get into it. So current website restrictions, the staff directory. I think I've heard from everybody in the Quad Cities that our staff directory does not work. And I've been trying for a year to get our staff directory to work. Dr. Devane can certainly attest to that. I've been talking a little lot about it. We do have new standards for level AA. I feel like some of the feedback we've received from people looking at our website is that it's kind of outgrown some of the basic elements that it provides. So Final Site allows us to add a lot of dynamic elements, a lot of dynamic navigation that I'll show you. And it's also, we feel like it's something we can grow with as technology changes. So I'll show you a preview of our website and the 2 pages particularly. I'll have to leave the website to go to audio eye. So when you look at this presentation, just know that we do have the accessibility piece. It's not turned on until we're fully live. So we actually are on the web. So I'll show you on another website. So let's just get right into it. So this is our homepage, and you can see it's not much different than the LDO site that we have now as far as what it first looks like. We didn't want to change it drastically, and we like the homepage that we have now. But there are some different elements. First of all, if you saw it, just a little clip that we took of our welding class, and it's just super easy. It took us about 5 minutes to gather this image or gather this video and to actually put it onto the slider itself. All right. And we don't have to be signed into Final Site to do that. So when I talk about role-based management, we could give Candace, our PR director, we could give her access to just the slider, and from her phone, she can upload images to it and adjust the slider on the fly. So she doesn't really have to be into Final Site that much to do that. Same is true for the calendar. So right now we're totally integrated with Google Calendar. We have, in Final Site, in Edleo, they're called newsletters. In Final Site, they're called posts. And what's nice about the posts is Final Site's very big about not leaving the environment, trying to stay within the environment, the web environment as much as possible. So when we click on posts, which is news, you can see that we haven't left the website to a different website. And then when it's responsive, it's really nice. And now we have all the information we have for that particular post. We can still do a newsletter. We can still link to a PDF newsletter if we want to be more fancy than that. But right from here, we can get the relevant information from any device, as well as a landing page for all of our news. Things run a little bit slow in this environment because we're not live, so just that's another precaution for you. So we like this graphic that we had on the original site. We have some updates to do on this. But what's nice with Final Site is that we have control of all these data points. So we can change all this if we want to. We can add new data. We can't really add a new column or a row, but we can certainly change these data points as they change. Before we had to do a service request for that, and it took a little while. We are going to decrease the size of this graphic so it doesn't take as much space. And then as we go further down, there's more information about our school district. We have a nice message from a superintendent, our district profile, our pay schools, and then this is just an image slider that we created. We're not really sure what to do with this box yet, but for right now, it's just one of those graphics. We threw a bunch of pictures that we already had in Edleo, so this won't be the pictures that we use. But again, this is an element that we could give to anybody to just update on the fly as they take pictures. So. And then we get down to where our social connections are, and then all the legalese that we need at the very bottom. That's not required by the state of Illinois. As far as navigation goes, we kind of like this this template because it gives us a two-tier navigation. So at the very top, these are just static links. And then when we click the secondary navigation, you can see how it's more compartmentalized into columns. So it's really nice, again, for the accessibility and for the responsive design, as if somebody were to click this and not use the navigation element itself, the drawer, it goes to landing pages throughout the website. So every page has a landing page as well. So if I go to human resources, which is one I just finished, this will show you some of the dynamic elements that I was talking about. And our vision here eventually is once we get some pictures of our staff and some department shots of our staff, that every department will have a landing page of the staff themselves. But this is another nice element within Final Site. You can see there's a lot of different ways to navigate the site.
Good. Nice.
But we have this element here is called tabs. So again, we'll get some more pictures up here of our staff once we get those taken. But when I click join our team, this is another dynamic element that we liked a lot. Without leaving the website, we can basically embed another page inside. We don't want to do this too much because it'll slow things down. But it's just an example of some of the things we can do with Final Site now and our future technology. So right from this particular website, I can see all of the open positions and really even apply if I wanted to. And then another nice feature, and this is in Edleo, but it's a little cleaner, I think, in Final Site, are these accordions. So it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of information on this page. It's a small area, but when you get into it, every one of these will expand. So we can just really maximize the real estate on a page and let people get to where they need to get to. If they're going to this particular page, they pretty much know what they want to do. So all this information expands. And then lastly, with the embed feature, PDFs are not my favorite to put on a website because they're hard to translate, they're hard to figure out where they're at. You never know if people have the right PDF extension for it. So in this case, this is a PDF that we're actually able to embed into the website. So again, I haven't left the environment and I've gotten the information that I need. So this might be good for newsletters, but then if I click on it, I still get the resource, I can still download it, I can still print it, and I can leave the website if I want to. But we thought that was a really neat feature inside of Final Site. The business office is another one because I'm going to get to the staff director, which is my favorite part. So for this particular page, we're able to still create this tabbed element, but as we start getting pictures with final site calls people constituents. So once we start getting pictures attached to constituents, we can do neat effects like this where we can start laying out the department pages a little bit better, find more information about each department. I'm gonna jump over to a school so you can see what a school is gonna look like. Franklin Elementary. So if you're looking at a preview site, Franklin Elementary was the first site that we built. So it's now our template for every site that we're. And you can see very similar in design, every school. Unlike our current design, every school is going to have its own brand, its own coloring, basically. We'll quickly get back to district home. We still have these as drawers, but again, we can click on any one of these and get to all the links. Plenty of space within Final Site and the site itself to promote through pictures or video, things that are going on. The calendar here is really nice. Before we had to do some fancy stuff with this. We can display the district calendar, but then also the school calendar. So we can subscribe to up to 5 different calendars. It'll show on this bar. So you can see this is a Franklin event, but this is a district event. So nobody has to get into Final Site to do this stuff anymore. This is an element that we added kind of last minute. We're envisioning this to be more of a newsletter, possibly just image slider. I'm not really sure, but it's just right now it's just news. So families can scroll through that. Get basic information. Again, we're still trying to figure out how we're going to present the newsletters because everyone see it, not everyone. There's multiple ways that we do newsletter now through PDF or through third-party applications or just through the website itself. So we're going to try to make that a little more consistent. This is a cool element to have in the center of the page for people that want to get to that. We like that graphic on the homepage. So we went ahead and basically created it for every school. Every school now has their own data points that they can advertise to the community. And we want every school administrator to provide some information about them. And this little graphic where we have an overlay, provide information about the principal. And then we want a message from every principal, just kind of welcoming people to their school. And then every school will have a district profile and then pay schools. And these social channels will be just for Franklin now, not for the district.
Ooh, I like that.
And I'll go back home. All right. So again, this is the part that we fought with for about a year and a half. And no offense to Edel, but we just couldn't get it right with them. But this is our staff director. And basically all this is pulling from, Greg Green worked on this, did a great job. Basically, this is pulling from a shared spreadsheet that all of the offices have. So as soon as something is changed in that particular spreadsheet, process runs overnight and it changes this. So it's very, very easy to do. We don't have to be inside a Final Site to make these changes. And that was that role-based management that I was talking about. We did hide the email addresses just because it's easy to scrape a website like this for spammers. We can change this if we want to actually display them. But each of these contacts now we can click on them. And again, just like the post, the information is right there. You can click off of it. The search feature is really nice. And for any staff, this is the part that we just can never get right. For any staff that is in multiple locations, it's listing both locations. Now it's listing both phone numbers as well. So it's really nice to have all that information right there. And then if we go back to Franklin, every school will have their own staff directory. That's just for that particular school. So we can break it out per school and all the information right there for our parents. This was a huge deal during the pandemic when we were shut down. So I'm glad that we were able to get that on back. The translation in Final Site is also really nice. We use Google Translate, and that does a fine job. The problem with Google Translate, however, is that it doesn't always catch some of these third-party elements. It may not catch, like if this wasn't really part of that website, which it's not, it may not catch this area. But you can see with the integration with Final Site uses a program called WeGlat. I can switch this. We can only do up to 5 unless we want to pay more. So I worked with Ms. Perkins on which ones, but you can see now all the parts of this is a graphic, so it doesn't change it. But all the parts of the navigation have changed, all the drop-down drawers have changed. And then even elements like this are now translated, which again, with other translation services, it's hard to get into these elements. So we thought that was a great feature. And then as I navigate the website, I don't have to continually go to Google Translate. I'm now in this experience right now. It's translated throughout the entire experience, which is nice.
That's-
And then lastly, the accessibility piece, again, I have to show you this because it's not live. But with level A accessibility, there's a lot to it. But we'll have this button in the same location on every page. When you click on this button, it opens up audio eye. It's an extra part of the license. We have to pay a little bit more for it, but it's a lot cheaper than having to have another third party come in and basically do this on a website that doesn't have these features. It's actually a fraction of the cost. But now I have all these different tools that I can use for accessibility. And another nice one is the window. So, and I haven't left the website to do any of that. I can reset it anytime. So that is our basic navigation. Every school is going to be very consistent. We're not going to have the option anymore for schools to change colors or change location of links. Everything's going to be in the same spot, the same area. And instead of allowing schools to go in, and no offense to any schools for doing this, but instead of allowing them to go in and change the basic layout, we're going to give them bits and pieces, the role-based part of it, so that a school can quickly change the newsletter. They can add district events. They can add content to specific areas that we give them, but the general look and feel of the website, well, I think that's a big part of what a goal that we wanted to create. So our next steps, we want to advertise. Once we have this done, I really don't want to give the preview link out because it's going to be slow and a little funky and we're still working on it. But we certainly do want to advertise, and I've been working with Candace on ways we can do it. Maybe through a newsletter on our current site. We can certainly use our social channels. We can do like a pop-up on the last week before we go to migrate. We can do a pop-up on our current site saying there's a new experience coming on May 1st. And of course, we can use our district remind messaging to send that message out to our families, just to let them know. But I don't think that the experience itself is much different than what we have, and at least from our testing with other people, other stakeholders in the district, the feedback has been that it's really easy to navigate this website. So I'm not too concerned about the cutover as long as we have the correct information. And that is our new website.
Looks phenomenal.
Very fucking cool.
So for the socials and stuff, I know you said the individual breakdowns are on the pages for the schools, the separate schools. What about some of the other places that have socials? So some of our athletic teams or other stuff?
Yeah.
Is there gonna be a landing page for them? So that way,
Yeah,
okay,
it won't be in the same spot. So the high school is getting there. The high school is our largest entity, so we have some more work to do at the high school. But yeah, for every department page, this, again, it's not really set up the way this is gonna be columnized. So say social studies had a Facebook page or a Twitter account or Instagram link or whatever, we can put that on their landing page itself.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be at the bottom of the page. This is just for the school's social feeds. But yeah, every department will have its own page, landing page.
And then the other question I had is that, I know just in changing websites for myself at work, it's that a lot of people don't go and navigate through websites as much as that they find these things because they'll type in Moline HR blank on Google and see what it takes them to. Have we, in terms of how we're testing, how people get to the pages, not by navigating, but by
By searching.
Google and stuff and the search engines and that? Because I know with the drop down parts that are, underneath like the HR and how it had just the tabs where you're not leaving the page, does it take you to that full page and you still have to find it, or is it gonna take you to that separate drop down, I guess?
Yeah, that's to be determined. We'll see
Okay.
how well it works when we go live. But final site works in domains. So
Okay.
every one of these schools on the school page, back to the school home, is an actual domain.
Okay.
So it's
then
gonna
it'll-
be bicentennial.molinschools.org. It has its own domain. As soon as you do that, then websites are a little bit quicker about finding that particular information. Now, for departments, it's not really a domain, it's just a part of a page, so. They'll definitely find our school district, but go down to the departments, maybe a little.
Need a little bit more steps in navigating. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. This is awesome.
This is phenomenal.
I know, I'm like,
Thanks so much. It's just really, really good.
And I have to give a special thanks to my team, John Sullivan. We didn't import any of this data. Basically, every page is from scratch. Because we wanted it all to be clear and we wanted it to be clean and make sure we didn't bring data over that wasn't relevant timely. So we did some copying and pasting, but every page has been developed from scratch and John was a big part of that. And Greg Green did my favorite part, which is the staff directory and our other integrations. And Candace has given us a ton of information as well. So a big shout out to all of them. It's been a long process, but a fun process. So,
It looks beautiful.
all right, thank you.
I think too, we live in a world where people Google things. Yeah. I would be impressed. I was looking up the Moline School District and that's the first thing I saw. So, all right. Consent agenda, there was an addendum, so, Stephanie did email us at the last minute, but you may not know, but you can make sure you're aware of that. So number 6, is the consent agenda. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve the actions contained in consent agendas A through Q and the addendum item 7 as presented. And I have a roll call, please. I need a motion. Second. My roll call, please.
Justin Anderson.
Yes.
I
I don't think he made
Okay.
it.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Andrew Ware.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Right now we move on to one of my favorite things. Number 7, approval of the memorandum of understanding. The recommended motion is the Board of Education approve the Blackhawk College work-based period memorandum understanding and the associated cost of $47,295 for the 2023-2024 school year. I have a motion, please.
So moved.
Any discussion? May I have a roll call?
Andrew Ware.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Number 8 is the approval of renewal of Illinois High School Association membership. Recommended motion is that the Board of Education approve the renewal of the Illinois High School Association membership for the 2023-2024 school year at no cost. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
I have a quick question.
Okay, go ahead.
Has it always been at no cost? Okay,
All
just
right.
making sure. Thought maybe it was.
I didn't know. Any more discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Andrew Ware.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Here. Aye. Not
Here.
here. I'm here and I said yes. Okay, here we go. Number 9, the first reading of revised Board of Education Policy 2110, qualification terms and duties of board officers. Recommended motion is that the Board of Education accept for first reading the revised Board of Education Policy 2110, qualification terms and duties of board officers as presented.
I would like to waive the second reading and allow the first reading to stand for both the first and second reading.
Fantastic.
Second that.
All right, could I have a roll call, please?
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Andrew Ware.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. All right, number 10 is the first reading of the revised Board of Education policies 3.40, superintendent, and 8.20, community use of school facilities. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education accept for the first reading revised Board of Education policies 3.40, superintendent, and 8.20, community use of school facilities as presented.
I would like to waive the second reading and allow this reading to stand for both the first and second reading.
Second. Awesome. Can I have a roll call, please?
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Andrew Ware.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Yo, yep, see, it's Kate's fault. Yes,
We're way off.
sorry. That was her fault.
It is.
Okay, number 11. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education accept for the first reading the revised Board of Education policy for operational services, section 4.60, purchase and contracts.
I would like to waive the second reading and allow the first reading to stand for both the first and second.
Second.
And I have a roll call, please.
Andrew Ware,
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Number 12, the recommended motion is that the Board of Education accept for the first reading the revised Board of Education policy for section 5.30, hiring process and criteria.
I would like to waive the second reading and allow the first reading to stand for both the first and second reading.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Ware.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Number 13 is the recommended motion that the Board of Education accept the first reading of the revised Board of Education policy for section 5.90, abused and neglected child reporting.
I would like to waive the second reading and allow this reading to stand for both the first and second reading.
So move. Or second, I second it. Okay, sorry.
No problem. All right. we have a roll call,
Really,
please.
you know what.
Andrew Ware.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Number 14. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education accept for the first reading the revised Board of Education policy for section 5.125, personal technology, social media usage and conduct as presented.
I would like to waive the second reading and allow the first reading to stand for both the first and second reading.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Andrew Ware.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Number 15, the recommended motion is that the Board of Education accept the first reading of the revised Board of Education policies for section 5150, personnel records as presented.
I would like to waive the second reading and allow the first reading to stand for both the first and second reading.
So moved. Or second.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Andrew Ware.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Number 16 is the recommended motions that the Board of Education accept first reading the revised Board of Education policy for section 5170, copyright as presented.
I would like to waive the second reading and allow this reading to stand for both first and second reading.
Second.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Andrew Ware.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Number 17, the recommended motion of the Board of Education accept for the first reading the revised Board of Education policy for section 5.260, student teachers as presented.
I would like to waive the second reading and allow the first reading to stand for both the first and second reading.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Andrew Ware.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. 18, the recommended motion is that the Board of Education accept for the first reading revised Board of Education policy accelerated placement program as presented.
I would like to waive the second reading and allow the first reading to stand for both the first and second reading.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Andrew Ware. Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Number 19 is the recommended motion is the Board of Education accept for the first reading revised Board of Education policy 6.230, library media program as presented.
I would like to waive the second reading and allow the first reading to stand for both the first and second reading.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye.
Andrew Ware.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Justin Anderson.
Aye.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
Aye. Okay, reports, requests, and open discussion. Dr. Savage.
Okay, the 5 Essentials Annual Stakeholder Survey closes this Friday. We have really dug in this year to learn how to better use the data the survey yields to drive student achievement and overall school and district improvement. We dedicated a district strategic PACE goal towards these efforts, which includes ongoing targeted large group professional learning for administration and also on-site individual principal coaching. As of today, our student completion rate in grades 4 through 12 is 88%, with 3,900, 3,963 surveys taken out of 4,612 eligible students. The staff completion rate is currently 86%, with 549 surveys completed out of 650 eligible staff. For the parent survey, This data can be viewed two different ways. If you take the total number of parent surveys completed, which is 1,616, out of a total student population of 7,157, that equals a completion rate of 25%. If you take the 1,616 completed surveys out of our 4,337 unique families in the district, that rate is 37%. Either way, the parent participation rate has increased from last year, which was our goal, and we have surpassed the state average for parent completion on the survey, which is about 18%. This week, we are also working on completing the IAR, or Illinois Assessment for Readiness Assessment. This is the annual state mandated assessment that students take online beginning in 3rd grade, and we typically see those results over the summer. So we will be looking forward to those at that time. The Moline Public Schools Foundation Spring Fundraiser is taking place in about a month, Thursday, April 27th at Old Oaks Winery. This annual event is an excellent example of the solid working partnership the district has with the foundation. Proceeds from this and other fundraiser events hosted by the foundation directly support specialized teacher grants in the classroom. These grants support special above and beyond projects that many teachers strive to complete around the district to support advancement and enrichment for students. Last year, over $20,000 was donated back to our classrooms. The tickets are now available for purchase online, and we encourage our learning community to attend. For board members, we will post this as a community event where a quorum of board members may be present, and will note that no board business will be discussed. This measure will ensure that as many board members that would like to attend the event will be able to do so. Tomorrow night, we will host session 2 of our Portrait of a Graduate District Vision Setting process. We had over 80 stakeholders at the first session, which included students, staff, parents, board members, administrators, and community partners. Together, they are using their voice and providing a unique perspective to ensure that the future vision of our district is in alignment. We look forward to the end product after session 4 and will plan to present that to the Board of Education likely in July, along with next steps to explore for the future. And lastly, this Friday marks the end of 3rd quarter and leads us into a week of spring break. The 4th quarter begins Monday, April 10th. We certainly want to wish everyone a restful spring break, as well as remind the community of the municipal election taking place, which includes school board seats on April 4th. There are opportunities through the Rock Island County Clerk's Office for community members to vote early if they plan to be out of town next week. Early voting is available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30, as well as next Saturday, 8 to noon. That's what I have. Thank you.
Dave, anything?
No, finances are good and we're on.
All things you want to hear. I just want to reiterate that I encourage everybody to come to Portrait of the Graduate. The first session went really well. We had a lot of engaged people. It is worth your time to come participate in the future of what our students are going to look like. For people out in our audience, I highly encourage you to come tomorrow. It's really worth it. And if you're thinking about what's important for our future of the district, then I believe this is a vital thing to attend. I also want to take a second to thank our MEA for helping put on our board forum. We had incredible attendance. I was incredibly impressed with our community for coming out and taking an active part in their voting process. So that gave me a lot of faith in Moline. So yay. It made me feel good to know that people were coming out to make informed decisions. I know that when I ran, that was not the attendance at my my forum like that. So it was really good to see. Anybody else have any open discussion?
Do you have anything?
No, I was just gonna ask what time.
Moline High School cafeteria, 5:30 to 7:30.
Thank you.
I can say, and there's
dinner, so.
I'm in there. Yes. I just wanted to do a general, because you were talking about Moline Public School Foundation and how much they give, just a general shout out to all of our sort of booster sort of organizations. I had a chance to go to the athletic boosters meeting a couple of weeks ago and just really reinforced how much support they provide to all of our teams in that, but then also music boosters, trivia night coming up, the things that they've done through the musical season and drama boosters. So all those ones that take place at the high school, but then also as somebody, and I know many people at this table also actively involved, I helped pass out pizza and pop at the Wilson 8th grade dance on Friday. And the fact that you have, boosters there that are helping do that. And then all of our elementary ones that our schools do amazing things. And we're kicking into high season for some of them because during the winter months there aren't as much. There's fall carnivals and other stuff, but in the spring there are so many fundraisers and other events. And so just shout out to the fact that we have such engaged families and organizations and people that spend a lot of time doing that, that end up giving significant then time and money and resources back to our students and families. So just a general just shout out and to go to as many of these events for those of us around the table, but also those listening as we can to support the work they do in our schools.
And I also wanted to say, on whatever night it was, I went out to Bicentennial for the makers. Oh my goodness, it was a lot of fun and the kids were very proud of being able to tell you, they had it down to a science. Thank you for coming. Do you have any questions and things like that? So it was very good and it was bittersweet as I sat there and went, probably the last time I do anything like this as a board member, so.
I was not able to go to the Maker Fest because of the band concert, but what I want to do comment on that is a slice of what we're working towards. Maker Fest is future ready thinking and education. It's learning by producing instead of just consuming. And that is the whole point of what we're doing for the portrait graduate. And I think it needs to be noted that our elementary teachers are already working towards that. So it's a big picture process. It starts from kindergarten to 12th grade. So when we're at this portrait of graduate, you're not looking at just the last 4 years of a student's career. You're looking at it all. So I just cannot stress how important it is that our community, our board members take part in the portrait of graduate. Big fan. All right. Number 21 is the closed session. It's considered the appointment, employment, composition, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district. I have a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I don't need to do it all about, all in favor? All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Brandon.
Keep you here longer.
No, you're
But I
okay.
wanted to share, on Saturday, we had indoor state championships for track and field. So I qualified to go, Sam Vito, who's also a senior, and then Nyla Anders. So I went for 60-meter hurdles and high jump. Tammy went for high jump and then Nyla went for shot. So Nyla and I medaled. I got second in high jump. Fifth in the hurdles, and then Nyla got sixth in shot. And I just want to say that without our indoor track facility, I don't think that we would be able to go and do that. Because my freshman year, we were running in the hallways. And without that the indoor facility, I don't think that we would have made it there and been able to compete at that high of a caliber with all of this talent. So I just want to say how much I appreciate our indoor facility and just all the opportunities that provides for all student athletes, whether that be like basketball, track, softball, whatever it is. And I also wanted to say how valuable I thought the portrait of a graduate was. For those of you that didn't get to attend, I think you should definitely go tomorrow. Just like Ms. Smith said, I really loved it and I appreciated Savage, you bringing student voices and prioritizing our voice, because it means a lot to me to be able to contribute, to be able to listen and just share my opinion. Something that I thought that was interesting in the beginning of the meeting, a question that was asked was, what do you think a main selling point for our district would be? And at every single table, diversity was mentioned. And I thought that was really big. But something that was interesting to me was as I looked around the room, are the people that we're creating the vision and that are talking about the goals, it wasn't a very diverse room. And to ensure that our goals and our visions are going to be able to serve all students, I think we need to include a more diverse base and be able to include a wider base of perspectives to be able to serve all students there. So I wanted to ask, like, what can we do to include more people, make sure we're actively trying to get more people involved, especially more people of color, because our district, like district wide, minority enrollment is 50%. And I think like less than 15% of the people at this vision and goal setting were people of color. So I think we should encourage more people to come. But I also just wanted to say, I think that it's great that we're doing this, and I love that students are involved because, I mean, we're the students, so.
I think.
But yeah, that's my little share out, and definitely go tomorrow.
We did, Corinne. We, I think part of it might be the time of year too, because there's so many different things going on, but we got into this process a little bit later than the year than what I had hoped. It would have been really great to start this in the fall. We did send the invitation to every parent in the district, and we sent it in English and in Spanish. Unfortunately, I just feel like there's so many different things going on that was impossible to find dates where there wasn't a lot of other things going on. But I know in the future, we might need to consider a translation in perhaps a third language or a fourth language. And so the website has some great technology, and I know some of our electronic communication mechanisms allow for different languages. So that's something I think we could grow and improve upon.
Maybe like even in the invitation, just actively saying we would appreciate different perspectives and just making that known. Because if I were to be, well, if I was a parent, also a person of color, and a district were to come to me and say, we would really appreciate your perspective, and just calling that out and making it known that that's what we want and that's what we need to create just more representative goals for our district, I think that might be a better way to go. Because just sending it out to everybody and just say, hey, come, I don't know. I think it should be a little bit more targeted as well, if that's what we want.
Could we, for the future invitations going out, really channel down on the language in it about this is what we're looking for? We're looking for diverse voices, diverse backgrounds. So there's a little more pointed in the invitation.
I certainly can do that. I do know that part of the process, unfortunately, in this situation, is that it is cumulative. And so I think by design, the 4 sessions are designed to be with largely the same audience to navigate through the progression. But I know in just the invitation responses that I got, there were onesie and twosies of parents saying, oh, I can do this one, but I can do the other 3. So I do anticipate the stakeholder group in these other sessions to be slightly different, but for this particular purpose, the work is building. So I don't know that it will be an entirely different group of 80 people, but that's some great feedback for future events.
That's what I was thinking too, or for any other goal setting events or meetings that are had, just making sure that voice is also included and just valued in that way.
If we have students like, I'll use Rowan, for example, who was very excited about it and then looked at her friend and said, would you come to this? Is it fine? I mean, we wouldn't want students, we would want them to jump in at any time, correct?
Think so. And I did reach out to the students that were in attendance and asked them to bring a couple of friends. And I did reach out to the student government advisor prior to the first session to connect with the student government students, as well as the Latinos Unidos groups. Those were the 2 groups that I was able to get to beforehand. Obviously, I didn't get to everybody, but certainly, yes, more students, the better. This session will have 15 tables as opposed to the smaller groups or the more tables that we had last time. And I know a lot of the parent feedback was, we want to make sure we have a student at our table. So if each of you guys bring a friend, we might get there.
Maybe a way to do it in the future is if you focus on the groups at the high school, encourage them to bring their parents. They probably have students that are,
Yes.
in younger grades as well.
And we did the reverse. We, with the parent invitation that went out, we also encouraged those parents to bring their students, maybe 5th grade on up. But certainly, we'd like to scale up this process, and we might build upon it each year. There are quite a few districts in Illinois that are further along than us, and some of them have done portrait of a staff member, a portrait of a teacher, a portrait of a parent. And a lot of ways to come together to bring these ideals drilled down in a deeper way into the classroom that really are used to affect instruction and teaching and learning, which I think is the goal. Surface level used for marketing and hiring and things like that, but also to expand, who we are at every corner of the organization. So I'm just excited to learn how this evolves. I'm still learning along with everybody, but I think it could be a multi-year process.
I love the idea of drilling it down. It's a portrait of our staff member or whatever, portrait. That's awesome. Okay, before we adjourn, I wish our whole board was here because this is the last time we will sit together in this board together. And so 2 of our board members are retiring and moving on. And so we're gonna take a minute to thank Maria and Kate for their service. This isn't easy work. It's often really hard work, deep down and dirty work. And you do it for free and you give up your time and you put yourself out there. And I personally thank you for that commitment. Your community thanks you for stepping up and serving. And so Kate and Maria, who is now with us, would like to recognize you for all that you have done as a board member. We have one for Maria as well, but she is not with us tonight. So, like I said, this is our last time sitting as this board before the election. We do not meet till the end of April because of spring break. So, I've enjoyed working with all of you and I'm looking forward to the future of the Moline School Board and District. And with that, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye.